Aloha, this is Tom Lesher with the weekly Pele Report, and today is July 6th of 2011, and it's really hard to get the lighting right on these things. It happens to be morning out here, so I got that sun pretty low, and I see that half my face is black, but alas, the message is more important than the visuals, so let's look at what's going on here out in the starry sky, and in this case, the bright sunny sky. Um, there's a lot going on this week that has to do with Venus. And just as we have had in the past month or so, Mercury has gone through early Cancer, and then the sun in this eclipse last week went through early Cancer. Now we've got Venus coming through early Cancer. And when it does that, it triggers, first of all, it hits squares to Uranus, opposes Pluto, and then squares Saturn. So we have this transitional time going through of Uranus, Pluto, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, Saturn, all the different personal planets. Next month, Mars is going to come through early Cancer and hit Uranus and then Pluto and then Saturn. And so we can kind of look at this as a flow that's going on, particularly for us just now. Only this week it happens to be Venus, which is about love and values and relationships and all those beautiful, wonderful things that make life delicious. Yeah. So what I want to say about this is, well, and of course this week also then we have the moon going through Libra right now. It's going to be going into Scorpio as of Friday, and then on Monday it's going to be going into Sagittarius. So there's more emphasis, even with the moon going through these signs of partnership and relationship, Libra and Scorpio. It's really going to bring a number of things to culminate. Yes? I suppose the last, I don't want to bore you with all the astrology, but Uranus is also going retrograde on Saturday, and this is another astrological thing. If you're into astrology, these reports make a lot more sense, but another thing I wanted to mention is just that if you were born in late March or late June or late September or late December, and you have planets, and not just the sun, but also if you know astrology and you have the moon or your rising in the early cardinal signs of Aries, Cancer, and Libra and Capricorn, then this time is even more particularly intense. And not only intense, but life destiny is calling you forward. You are in some way hooked into this collective unfolding. And what is this collective unfolding about? But it is none other than the opening of the heart-mind. And I've spoken about this before, how we have been using our heads for so many thousands of years, and it's time to now be balancing them out, balancing out our thinking with our feeling, and moving into the heart space. And Venus rules the heart chakra. And when we look into this week in particular, first of all, we have the breaking open of the heart. Venus square Uranus. And this goes back a few months, to when Venus was conjunct Uranus, and this whole transitory time that we are in, this breaking out and breaking free. This axis that we have, Venus opposite Pluto, is in Cancer Capricorn, and that is all about security. Emotional security, financial security, and physical security. And then we have the nasties of Uranus and Saturn, squaring this Venus-Pluto, making this grand cross, and it is on the axis of relationship, yes? Aries being I, myself, and my own way of doing things, and Saturn moving through Libra with the longing to be one and longing to be in relationship and partnership. And so we have this dynamic going on, and this this cardinal cross, this square, is a human condition. It's a human conundrum that number one, we seek security, and number two, we seek change and we seek evolution. And so these two are just, they can be considered a paradox. Yes? And as Venus comes through here, first of all, it's going to trigger our unconscious need to individuate. And Uranus is unconscious. We may cooperate and feel a need to break free and break out, but beyond our own instinct, even beyond our own need to break free and break out, we don't know where that's going to lead. And life is going to bring us surprises. Uranus rules the unpredictable, unexpected. So first we have the unpredictable, unexpected, catapulting us into a new relationship or a new view of relationship, a new understanding of our current relationship, a need to redefine what relationship is, what we're looking for, what we can get out of it, what we will never find within it. And then Venus moves into the exact opposition with Pluto, and that's on Friday. And, you know, Pluto comes in and it will wipe out. It will erase the chalkboard. It will annihilate what the past was and what we thought we wanted. So even if we have this impulse to break out and break free into something, it involves letting go. It involves releasing, and getting into a relationship is letting go of being alone and being a bachelor, you know, or a bachelorette, you know, and leaving a relationship is leaving, you know, that comfort and security and being, you know, in partnership and moving into a space of being alone. One way or the other, there is this letting go of the way that things have been. And with Venus, we can see that it's also letting go of what we valued, what we knew, what we used to survive and to define ourselves. And this is probably the key, but I'm going to get to that key a little later. Because after then we break free or are kicked out, and then we experience the Plutonian depths of annihilation, and it's no longer the way it was, and where the hell am I? Then it comes around and it squares with Saturn. And that square to Saturn is a situation where it's time to reform, it's time to reconstruct a new view. It can perhaps be a new relationship that gets more consolidated. It can be a relationship that has gone through Uranus and Pluto. We need to redefine. We need to let go of the way we used to be together and move into forming Saturn, a new, a new vessel, a new chalice for the love that we share and have for each other. So this is this redefinition. And all of this redefinition boils down to Venus is the ruler of Taurus, and we have Jupiter moving through Taurus in a beautiful trine to Pluto. Yes, this beautiful trine to Pluto. And we know that Jupiter was conjunct Pluto in December of 2007. It's about 3.5 years ago. It's now come around. A seed was planted back in the, around Christmas of 07. 3.5 years ago, that is now moving into a state of fruition and blossoming. And this Jupiter moving through Taurus as the ruler of the North Node is even a greater indication of this time period. And this goes on all through this whole month of July, that we are now able to, ready to, old enough to, mature enough to change our values, change what we use to survive, develop new capacities. And that capacity can be, that I'm okay, I'm all right alone. I can do this thing. I can live a happy life. It may be that I've been alone and I am ready and I am ripe for relationship and partnership. It can be that I've been a stockbroker for a long time, and now it's time for me to do my art. But it's time to expand our horizons, expand our values, and expand our definitions of not only ourself and what we're capable of doing, but of the greater natural forces, the greater natural support that we are receiving through the web of life. So this connection that we have between ourselves, Taurus in the second house, and nature, Jupiter, North Node moving through Sagittarius, this link of us and nature is what is going to ultimately be our future security, whether alone or in partnership. So this is a time of redefining how we relate, and how we relate has to do with what we need, and what we need has to do with what we believe is the most important thing in life. As we believe that love, that unity, that peace and harmony are the most important things in life, then that boils down and settles into other changes and decisions that we make and choices that we make. So I'm doing a mantra for these weeks now, and the mantra for this week I would say is that the key to love lies within. Taurus, Jupiter in Taurus, ruled by Venus, who is bringing us through all these personal feelings and emotional changes, really has to do with finding a stable, secure, self-reliant place in the world. Financially, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, Taurus is so self-contained, persevering, enduring, and standing firm and strong as a bull. So be firm and strong as a bull, as the ripples of your reality spread out wider and wider to embrace the unknown. And with that, I will leave you for another week of love, Venus, and intensity. And I will talk to you again next week. Aloha.